Litecoin is giving us some nice bullish action as of this late Sunday night. We're seeing the same kind of thing happening in many of the cryptos. Bitcoin is up over 4%. Ethereum is almost up 4%. And you're seeing numbers like that in the green, 3, 4, 5%. We got Solana moving about almost 9% up. So a lot of upside action going on. And we have reason to believe that we may be ready to rally in our next phase, but we're not fully out of the woods. So this is the Litecoin chart, 30 minutes. And these charts are available in the description below. So check out those links if you are interested. But I've rearranged and decluttered this chart a little bit. We had our bottom on May 12th, along with the rest of the crypto space. And our official bottom was about 51.98. And since then, we have what may be considered an impulsive structure here, a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe the 5th wave is here. Either way, I'm counting this top as our official first wave in purple. And since then, we had several downside setups, and we've managed to avoid following through on almost all of them. That doesn't mean that we don't still have a setup in place, but the current bullish primary count is that we have a second wave, as you see here. This is a clear 3-wave pattern, an A, B, and a C wave. That is wave 2. Or a wave 2, large degree wave 2, and we may actually have a nested 1-2 setup in its place. This is a very deep retrace, not the best thing, but sometimes you see this kind of action when you're near a bottom and struggling to get the rally started. But you can see the green candles at the very end right now. We have a nice upside. We have some upside continuation so far, almost 4% up in Litecoin. Let's see if we can maintain it, although the MACD is getting a little overstretched. The bearish interpretation is that it's actually a corrective ABC pattern up with potentially a 1-2 nested setup to the downside. If that's the case, if I build out the extension, the Fibonacci extensions from there, we're probably going to finish in diagonal fashion. So that could take us down to $56, so $56.85. I would not expect this to go too much lower than we have, just because of how this looks right now. In a diagonal, you don't go down as far. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4th wave is really deep as well, overlap the first wave bottom, so on and so forth. So that would mean we have one more spike left to go, and I wouldn't expect us to break the low that we already hit. Again, that is the alternate count right now, the red count. Purple is still my primary. If purple is to maintain itself and we see some continued bullish action, we need to break through this box right here, about the 74 to 77.50 range. Once we break through that, then we can finally start hitting our larger targets. We got a bigger third wave target between $91 and $97, right in that range, with the final 5th wave possibly topping around the $100 mark. And if you're looking for a higher confidence entry point, in case you have some cash you're trying to deploy into Litecoin or any of the other cryptos, that would be a good time to do it. Wait for the 5-wave impulse to develop, and then a nice 3-wave pullback. That would be a much more high confidence place to buy. Of course, I'm fully allocated at the moment in my positions, and well, we've had a few dips to buy. So it's really up to you what your strategy is, but there's no clear downside setup at the moment. If anything, it's very sideways, but if we can start breaking through some of these resistances, that could be some good sign, could be a good sign that we got some continuation coming our way. Now, going to the big picture, I haven't changed anything here because all this is still valid in our long-term chart. I'm calling for this rally from the December 2018 bottom to our final eventual top, most likely to be an ending diagonal. So that means that we had our third wave blow off. I've gone over numerous times in my other coin videos that this third wave is basically coincidental between all the cryptos. They all hit a third wave within this 3-month stretch, as did the stock market, the Dow and the S&P 500. They also had their tops a little bit later than this. They lagged about 2 or 3 months behind, but everything is telling me that this is actually a third wave top, even though Litecoin and many of the newer cryptos don't have as much history going back. It makes sense that this is a third wave. And if that is a third wave top, and we kind of copy what we're seeing in something like Dash or Ethereum, assuming that's the third wave in red, and this is actually the bottom of a larger 4th wave, that tells us that we're going to get somewhere between 422 and 2576. So those are just common targets you see for a 5th wave based on the preceding 3 and 4. Again, these are very approximate numbers, but one cannot help but notice that there is some confluence when we count this 1, 2, 3, 4 ending diagonal structure. We have our channel trend lines drawn, and if we build a Fibonacci sequence off of that, there's confluence. 715 is still that target. We've had this target for a very long time, and it hasn't changed. Nothing has happened to change that interpretation. Although the timing might change. I think I have this currently showing November 2022. If I actually redraw our trend channel lines, this is looking at the back half of 2023, most likely. I'm actually going to draw it right here while I'm on the air. So from the bottom of the second to the bottom of the fourth wave, that is what it would look like, something like that. Then if we take that trend channel line and translate it down, it's probably right now, this is looking at the end of December. I actually don't think it's going to happen that quick, or we might see some more bullish action, because remember, we do have that green backup pattern. So again, our primary pattern is that we have one more rally left. It's probably going to take the form of a three-wave zigzag because we've been in a diagonal formation, diagonal count. So the internal structures are usually not clearly impulsive. However, that doesn't mean we can't see some kind of impulse. If we see an impulse, five-wave structure, we may go beyond that $700 mark. And even if we don't fully finish this green count, we may get something in between. So we're going to have to see some more upside action before I can make a determination on what makes the most sense. There's a chance we just have one final five-wave ending diagonal here that takes us into our target range. That'll be a blow-off top, obviously. And that is not a joke, because that'll be a major top for a lot of asset classes, not just Litecoin or cryptos, but also the stock market. I'll touch on that in just a second. Our other alternate pattern is orange. It's really not that different from red. It just means that we may have one lower low. I don't see that as a strong possibility at the moment. As I showed on the short-term chart, we don't have a clear setup for more downside. And if we do get more downside, I'm not completely convinced we'd see any lower than what we saw on May 12th. So now for the, again, the big picture, what is the significance of that top? We have a lot of asset classes. When we draw the diagonal trend channels, the trend lines, it does seem to show sometime in the second half of 2023 that we're going to see a topping structure develop. Well, it's developing at the moment, but that could be the ultimate top. This is my DoW chart, and it too has some confluences. I know this is showing November 2022. I think this thing got distorted, but I have targets, again, second half of 2023. I've also been using our crypto blockchain stock tickers. I have a nice analysis on this. I've actually got a video up on this, and it's been pretty popular. I think a lot of people are into this kind of thing. So some of you may be curious about that, but we have a clear trend channel line drawn here, and we have a surprisingly precise date here around October 2023. Now, that doesn't mean it's exactly going to be then, but we have a lot of different securities pointing at the second half of 2023 as a potential major top. And when I say major, this isn't going to be a short-lived event. We could see multi-years of pulling back. When we look at specifically, I'm actually going to pull up Bitcoin just because it has the most history. Remember, Bitcoin's been around for a while. It feels like it just started not that long ago, but our third wave top again was that almost 4.5 years ago. So from our third wave top to what will presumably be our fifth wave top eventually, later half of 2023, that could be a 5-6 year period of time. Considering how long these corrections have been, it shouldn't be too surprising. And even that third wave top, that took years to unfold. Remember, we had some crypto manias early on before everybody and their cat knew about cryptos. So it was at Jan 2015 to about December 2017. That was just the third wave from the bottom of the second wave. So again, point is, we're working with pretty big time scales. And if this entire pattern started in 2011, it's been about 11 years, you could expect a minimum 5-year bear market, just assuming the second wave takes half as long as the entire cycle took so far. So again, not to get too pessimistic or anything, we need to see some upside action on Litecoin to give us a bit more of a structure to project. So again, I have this purple box, but if we can get that rally, that'll take us up to about $100 or so. I'll take us about here. Even better would be if we got to about 130 or so. That's about where our top was for our fourth wave, 130, 140 range. If we got that, that would be a much healthier setup to take us a bit higher. So some excitement ahead. The stock market is in a bit of a consolidation, so perhaps cryptos are catching up as the stock market has been running ahead quite vigorously. Just to touch on that, here's the Dow. I know it's a 30-minute chart. We were very likely in some kind of a fourth wave consolidation with a fifth wave to come. So that is what we're looking at, a nice major shift in sentiment, but there is still a chance we could see that lower low. So nothing to panic about. Let's see how this develops. Subscribe so that you don't miss any updates on Litecoin. And until next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.